you know what, if I could introduce this as two children, if I could introduce this to my family without being laughed at, he said, if this is true, that there is an intelligibility that is open to us through dreams, that you can depend upon as a way of focusing your energies and your life's goals. And if I brought that into the family, he said, you know what? It would reduce then injustice in the family. He said, without a doubt, there's no doubt that we wouldn't be random in respect to one another, right? We'd be paying attention. He said, curiously enough, it said that there'd be no rebels in the household as they are now, and no one would want to escape if there were such a direction from dreams. Because then, he said, look here, you'd want to become associated with it, you'd like to encourage the development of it, you'd like to live and join in that realm. He said, and therefore, this would end in the fact that we would then really be related on a higher level. And we would allow ourselves to see an emerging good. Now, this is where he stopped, because I pushed a couple of steps, and I'd like to push the steps with you. I raised this point. If all of this can be said, if dreams can function in this way, then wouldn't we also have to say that there is a kind of ruling that dreams can contribute a direction. They can contribute a direction in a very interesting way, because if it can give it an interesting direction, if these two things are related, then the dream master must be able to have the power to reach back into your personal past and pull out each of those things that are significant that you have to work on in order to see their connection. But if that's true, then this dream master must know the alpha and the omega of your life, the beginning and end of it. Must be so familiar with you and your language and what's happened to you that it can pull all of these things together to present you with the kind of dream that will irritate you so much for 3 days that you'll have to look around for someone to talk to about it. Therefore, I told him that what it really looks like is that whatever goal the dream master has, the dream master must have the power to bring it to a conclusion. Because it's taking your present life, taking the dreams, showing you the two. If your conclusion is anyway similar to what's implicit in the dream as it relates to your past, then that very dream master must be in fact in agreement with the general conclusions that life is meaningful and you have to reach it. But what's interesting, quite interesting, is that the very process you have to go through to understand dreams means you then have to awaken your mind, your own mind, to a way of reasoning and that way of reasoning must have a parallel structure to the very way in which the dream was organized and designed. So therefore it awakens the mind to a new way of understanding or a new way of just understanding the operations and functions of the mind. If that's the case, then Dream Master, therefore, on this level is functioning like a shepherd. Watches over to make sure things are okay, warns you, tells you, connects with the present and the past. If that's true, then it certainly has a great interest in our bringing about certain goods. Now, if it has all of that, then obviously this whole development is nothing other than presupposes that the Dream Master in itself must be of the nature of the good, must have vast effective capability, must have vast effective capability, and the sufficient power to bring it about, and the kind of multimedia understanding of all of these things to make the work so artistically intriguing that it involves us directly and for a long period of time. Now, if that's the case, then there is no deflecting it from its purpose. Right? It has a purpose, our own good. Right? And it can't be deflected from it. It therefore must have some form of a will, or direction, conscious direction, intelligible direction, which is another word for will. Now, what do we have here? We have a dream, we have a past event, we have a discussion with this gentleman by the name of Peter. We went up to this point. He was shaky about going further. This is my construction after this. I led him through it, shared it over a cup of coffee. And so he asked, all right, look here. He said, look here. What is this? Does this have a name? What is this? And I said, Peter, you got a good mind. Because everything that we've talked about in each of the ways in which we spoke about it is this. Classically, in the Platonic tradition, what guided every step in this reasoning is the classic view of providence. Providence means, literally, it is video, to see, right? What comes before seeing. Sometimes that's called forethought. But that's not really significant enough. It's really what is prior to the operations of the intellect. It's something that's prior to and above intellect that brings about a good. That's the definition of providence, which is pronoia in Greek. Now, when you explore philosophically in what we once here described as the dialectic proceeds this way. First, you must talk about the thing in itself. Then you must talk about it in terms of other things. Then you must talk about how the other things interrelate among themselves. Then you must talk about the way these things that interrelate among themselves relate back